Some women don't chase, and yet they're never forgotten. There's a silence that lingers in the space she leaves behind. Not the silence of absence, but the kind that echoes, like a mirror turned inward. The kind that makes a man feel not abandoned, but exposed. And Carl Jung would say, it's not her he misses. It's the part of himself she awoke and then refused to soothe, because he doesn't crave comfort. He craves confrontation with his own shadow. And she, unknowingly or not, became that. Soft visual, a man staring out a rain-streaked window. Cut to her back, bare, unapologetic, vanishing. He will never say it, but the moment she stopped explaining herself, the moment her eyes stopped pleading for closeness, was the moment he felt everything. He felt the first rupture in his ego. The realization that the power he thought he had was only ever borrowed from her gaze. She had become the projection of his anima, the feminine soul within him he disowned. Not the pretty, soft muse, but the wild one. The one that didn't need him. The one that touched the thread between his mother wound and his hunger for control. And when she pulled away, he didn't feel freedom. He felt the tremble of a man severed from his mirror. Visual, dimly lit forest, symbolic, a man alone, hands on his chest. He will never tell you that he craves to be broken open, but only by the woman who does not beg to be let in, that her mystery hurts him, that her silence makes him feel small, that every time she doesn't react, his mind begins to unravel. He'll keep playing roles, stoic, distracted, distant, but underneath, the archetype burns. He is the king without a throne, because the throne isn't in the world, it's in his psyche. And only the woman who awakens the inner queen, not the girl, not the mother, can bring him to his edge. But she must be willing to walk away, willing to stop dancing for his validation, willing to make him face his own emptiness. And that he will never admit. Visual, scenes of a woman quietly preparing tea alone, slow intentional movements. He won't tell you that your emotional detachment is more seductive than your affection, that your restraint slices through his illusions, that your indifference whispers louder than your devotion ever did. Not because he wants to be punished, but because he wants to be awakened. The Jungian man, the man moving toward individuation, doesn't want to be coddled. He wants to be pierced, not by cruelty, but by a woman who refuses to dim her fire for his comfort. She doesn't fight for his potential. She reflects it like moonlight across a still lake, and he sees it, and he drowns in it, and he can never unsee her. Visual, flashback of laughter, her touch, her withdrawal, like memory fragments. He remembers her detachment not as coldness, but as precision, the way she held herself in tension, not to manipulate, but to stay sovereign, the way she walked beside him, not behind. The way she let him choose and never chased what refused to choose her back. He will never admit that this shattered something primal in him, that he searched for her in others and found only reflections, never depth. Because once a man tastes a woman who owns her darkness, who speaks not with words but with presence, he can't return to softness without substance. He doesn't want ease. He wants her, the one who saw through his bravado and refused to rescue him from himself. Visual, moonlight fades into dawn, her silhouette at the threshold of a door. But here is the paradox. The very moment he's ready to claim her, she's already gone. Not in anger, not in spite, but in truth. She became what Jung called the individuated self, the woman who integrates, not performs. She no longer feeds on his attention. She no longer waits to be chosen. She walks with the weight of her own soul, and that he cannot possess. He will feel it. He will ache for it, but he will never say it, because to admit it would mean he has to descend into himself. Ending. The music deepens. Her shadow fades into golden light. The woman who walks away in silence isn't weak. She simply sees more. She sees the boy in the man, the projection in the passion, the ego in the apology, and she knows what he cannot say will echo far louder than anything he ever did. Fade out. End screen. Slow text on black. The feminine doesn't chase. She remembers.